Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today is another Fix-It video, another video where I try to fix something that I've bought from eBay. So this is advertised as faulty, and I'm going to do my best to try and fix it. Now, take these videos just as entertainment, don't actually take it as any sort of advice or anything, because a lot of the time I do things wrong. So let me just see what's on this bit of paper here. Right, okay, perfect. So that shows the price, so I can just show you that here. Now this was bought quite a long time ago, and actually there's no point in me showing you the eBay listing because this is from a business seller who specialises in retro consoles, so there's very little information. It basically just says GameCube, powers up, doesn't read discs, spares or repair. And I paid £7.05 and £5.95 postage, so in total £13. Now this doesn't include any controllers, it doesn't include any cables, memory cards, anything. This is purely just a console, but really I've just got this purely to do the video on it, because I already have a working GameCube. I got this from a charity shop near me. I think it was £18 for everything, and that includes the controller. So actually it was a really good buy, and it came with a little memory card as well. So obviously eBay isn't always, it's very rarely the best place to buy something, but if I want faulty stuff then it's ideal. Right, here we go. So this looks like it's a black one. Condition wise, well, I mean, it seems to be okay. Let's just peel this off here. Now, so basically this is supposed to power up, but it's got a problem with playing discs, and I believe that's quite a common issue with these. Now I'm just quickly looking at the laser there. I mean, I'm not studying it too close, but it all looks pretty clean. Around here it looks dirty, but I'm thinking if it's a business seller, the chances are that they've probably checked the simple things out, but you never know. You never know. Right, let's just have a look. So it's missing a port at the bottom, a cover at the bottom for these ports. I've never taken apart a GameCube before, and I'm quite looking forward to it. It's a very compact design, and it's a good little system. So I think first things first, let's plug it all in and actually see if we do get anything out of it. See, realistically, even if I do get this working, by the time you buy the power supply, a controller and things like the memory card and stuff, really it probably would be cheaper just to get a working GameCube. But I still think it's going to make for an interesting video. Right, okay, so we've got a light to power on, and it's coming up with the menu screen there, so that's good. And, okay, it hasn't got the correct date, but it's not far off. Right, okay, let's pop a game in and see what it does. I can hear it moving. I'll bring the camera down in a minute so you can hear it. Right, and now it's stopped. Yeah, there you go, you can see it's not moving. Right, let's bring the camera right down so you can actually hear what's happening. Now, if this is a common fault with these, then I'm thinking the best thing for me to do is do a search on Google and see what others have done to fix this issue. Right, listen to this now. Okay, and then it stops. Yeah, right, so I wonder whether we can forcibly move this up. Yeah, right, so I've moved that up there. Let's see if that moves back into the reading position. There you go, yeah. And it stops again. So now let's see where it is. Right, so that says to me that looks like that part of it's working okay. So I think the first thing to do is just to get a bit of IPA on a Q-tip, and then we'll see what happens. You never know, we might be lucky, but looking at it there, it really does look very clean. So I'm thinking that it's probably been done already, but who knows, you never know. And luckily with fault finding, because I'm going to find it very hard to actually, test the components and stuff on this, because I have a working one, it's so much easier because it means I can swap things over and then I'll be able to pinpoint what the problem is. So let's start off by doing that. Right, okay, so I'm just going to do this when this is all on. So I'm just going to dip the cotton bud in here. And I'm very gently, because obviously I don't want to damage this laser, I'm just going to gently wipe it just on top there. Now remember, it's all going to evaporate off. Right, okay, and I'm just going to use the dry side now just to help it dry up a little bit. Now I know this sounds silly, but in a way I hope this doesn't fix it, because I do actually want to take this apart to see the inside of it, because I've never taken one apart before. Right, okay, I'm just going to do that and see what happens. So normally when you go up to gameplay it should come up with the game up here, and also the disc shouldn't stop. Right, and it stopped again. Let me just try a different game, just in case. Lovely little small discs, aren't they? No, and that's doing nothing either. So it's time to take this thing apart. Now, I'm wondering if it's going to be very similar to the Dreamcast, where there's a potentiometer in there, and this little pot that you have to turn, for example, clockwise to make more, to give the laser more power, and anti-clockwise to give it less power. Now, I know that that probably isn't going to be a lasting repair, because obviously if the laser's dying, the laser is dying. But by giving it a bit more power, you never know, it might last months or possibly years, who knows. Maybe it's already been taken apart, and maybe it's already been tried. I'm not too sure. In fact, I haven't even looked for the screws there. I can see that there's missing things there. Maybe, do you know what they're going to be for? Oh yeah, they're going to be for, you can get a Game Boy thing, can't you? That goes on the bottom here. Right, so I'm going to have to get, I think these just use one of these Game Bit drivers, and I got one of them after I had trouble getting the Mega Drive cartridges open. So let's take this thing apart. Right, okay, so I've got my little Game Bit driver, which is this thing here. That's them all out. Now, let me just... Excellent. Obviously I've got everything unplugged, so that just comes out there like so. I can see that it's got a slight tiny little break just here, so it must have been dropped at some stage. Right, actually, do you know, before I go any further, what I want to do is I want to see if there's any red light on this, and also I want to see if it's focusing, you know, when it moves itself up and down. So let me plug this in. Now obviously I'm not going to look at this directly with my eyes, because these lasers can damage your eyes, so don't look at them straight on. But like I say, don't copy what you see in my videos, because I will not always be doing things in the safest way. Right, okay, so I'm being careful not to look at it, I'm looking through the actual viewfinder itself. So there's two little switches here, so this must mimic when the lid is closed. There we go, red light. Yeah, and I can see it moving up and down. Now let me see if the camera can actually see it moving up and down. Right, you ready? I know it's off in the centre a bit, hold on. Right, here we go, ready? There you go, can you see it moving up and down? Right, so to me it looks like the laser hasn't burnt out completely, I believe. Well, actually I don't know that, do I? But I believe if it's burnt out completely, what I'm thinking is it won't come on at all. I think this has all the hallmarks of that same thing as the Dreamcast, which is where there's not enough power to the laser because the laser is dying. So by increasing the power to it, it will hopefully start working again. So I'm going to unplug this, and I am going to take off all these screws around the edge here, and then hopefully I'll be able to get to the bottom of this. Oh, does it come out here? Hold on. There's a ribbon cable there. Let me undo all these screws. Looks like it's really nicely made. Looks lovely. It's a good chance to clean it as well. Look at that. Let's see if we can get it working to begin with. Now I've had a look online and the laser's only £6, so I would actually be tempted to get a laser for it. But if I can do this kind of fix with the potentiometer thing, then I would like to do that to start. And then maybe it could be a future video how to replace the laser, because I'm thinking when you replace the laser you probably have to sort of like tune it in again using that potentiometer. So I think what I'm going to do is, because I've got a working GameCube, I think I'm going to see if I can measure it, because on the Dreamcast I was able to actually measure the ohms on the laser, but back then I did it wrong. I did it when it was still when it was powered. So apparently when you're reading resistance, everything's got to be unpowered, so I have to make sure it's basically dead. I thought it had to be powered. But that shows you how little I know. So if I can get a reading on this one, then get a reading on my working one, I might be able to see, and then it will tell me maybe if this is already, maybe this is at the end of its life now, maybe it's been tweaked that many times it's about to go. But I'm thinking if it's a business seller, I think that's unlikely. I think he's just got this in, probably wants to get it out again. They're not worth a lot of money, even working. Oh, here we go. Is it going to come up? No, I've got a screw at the back here. Excellent. That came off really easy. It feels like it's not even making a connection on that. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Yeah, okay, yeah, it does go down onto it. Right, okay, well, it all looks lovely and clean, isn't it? It's looking good, looking good. Right, so let's now take this off because I want to be able to get to the board. Maybe it's not the laser that's dying, maybe it's a problem with the capacitors or something else feeding the power to the laser. Right, okay, so here it is. And I can see something that I can turn here. So let's give that a little, let's see if we can measure anything on that. So if you have a look, here. Yeah, this one here. V, is it Y? YR401? Hold on. VR401, this thing here. Let's get the multimeter on this. So obviously this is completely dead. And let's see if it's what it reads. So I'm just going to go to ohms. Right, 0.35. I mean, this means nothing to me. I'm going to have to go with my, I'm going to have to take apart my GameCube and see the difference. Right, let me get a pen and paper and scribble these things down, because I don't know how I'm supposed to be measuring it. Actually, let me put it to continuity, and maybe will I get continuity between here? Right, so if I'm getting continuity there, maybe it's between there and there, or maybe it's between here and here. 1 minute. .2. So that's nearly a full short, isn't it? .3 kilo ohms. Right, let me going to get a pen and paper. I'm going to write down those figures and then I'm going to take apart my GameCube and compare. .355. So this one between here and here, 0.355 kilo ohms. A lot of people pick me up for saying that. See, I say kilogram, but I know it's spelled kilogram, and I don't know whether that's just me saying it wrong or whether that's just the English accent, but a lot of people were sort of saying, you know, like, haha, the way you say it, killer, as in K-I-L-L-E-R. I know it's like K-I-L-O, but that's what I say, and that's what everybody around me says, like kilo ohms, kilogram. Well, actually, they don't say kilo ohms because we don't talk about this because one of my friends are into this, but it's, you know, like kilograms and stuff like that, even though I know it's spelled kilograms. So that's just gonna hopefully stop all the comments talking about it. I'm just gonna write that down there to there, 0.2 ohms. .335. So these two are the same as that one, 0.3. Or whatever it was, 0.355. Right, okay, so just to show you what I'm going across, if you have a real close look here, it's got 3 little contacts here, here and here. So they're the ones I'm going across. So now I'm just going to get my good GameCube, I'm going to take this one apart, and again I'm going to measure what it is on my working GameCube, and then I'm going to try to twist that until it measures what my working GameCube is, and then see, and if thinking about it, is it even worth doing that? Because originally this would have been correct. See, the potentiometer is not going to have gone out, is it? Or is it? No, maybe it has. I'm trying to think, does the laser going out adjust the potentiometer? Or has this one here always been 0.355 and now it's just that the laser's fading, so I have to increase or decrease this? Well, I'm going to be decreasing it, aren't I? I'm going to be decreasing the resistance to make it more powerful. Or does somehow when the lasers start dying have a knock-on effect and makes this figure lower? I really don't know. I think for peace of mind I should take apart the working GameCube just to see what those figures are, because then I've got something to go by. Right, so I'm just going to fast forward through all this bit. So here we have the working one. Now let's get some measurements off this one. Okay, so that's completely different. 140 ohms. 140 ohms. Just going to go across all of them. .27, so that's the same. .140 ohms. Now I'm just going to double check. I'm 100%, nearly 100% sure it doesn't make a difference what way you have the leads round, but just want to double check. 140 shouldn't make a difference because you're just measuring in between the leads, aren't you? Excellent, 140. So, look, that's completely different. So, let's, and that makes sense as well, because look, 140 ohms is, will have less, hold on now, one second now. 140 ohms will have less resistance than 0.3 kiloohms, won't it? 0.3 kiloohms. So this will have a lot more resistance, which means the laser's not going to be as bright. So let's adjust the faulty one. So this is a good one, so let's keep this to one side. And let's adjust the faulty one until we get to 140 ohms. So let me just see now. Is this going to turn it? Yeah, that's going to turn it. Right, so even just that has probably turned it a little bit. So I don't know whether you go clockwise or anti-clockwise. Let's see. Right, so that's 0.3, so that's the same as it was before. Let's see if I can keep these on here while turning it. So I'm going to go anti-clockwise, so counter-clockwise. Okay, and that's getting lower, isn't it? Oh wow, I'm having to turn it an awful lot though. Oh, here we go, here we go. Wow, that just suddenly did a massive jump. Well, 143, and the good one's supposed to be 140, so why don't we just run with that? Let's go across the others, see if they're the same. Oh, that's changed now. Before that was 0.2 on both of them. Now it's 0.5. Okay. 142 ohms, and the good one's 140 ohms. Well, that's close enough, isn't it? I think I'm going to give that. I think I'm just going to run with that and see what happens. Now, I'm not going to put it completely back together. So I was turning it anti-clockwise there, wasn't I? So I turned it. Turned counter clockwise, and it changed from 0.355 kilo to 142 ohms. Well, okay, yeah. What was kind of weird is it was going very, very slowly, and then it just seemed to do a massive jump. Actually, hold on a minute. See, this is really where my knowledge is really bad. 0.3 kiloohms, is that not just the same as 300 ohms? Isn't it? Because 1 kiloohm would be 1000 ohms. So surely 0.3 would be 300 ohms. So it wasn't actually... Oh, I don't know. It wasn't actually that far out, was it? I don't know. Right, let's pop this back together. Just going to put a couple of screws in it. What I'll do is I'll just put a couple of screws in, and then I won't connect it up to the TV. I'll just see whether the disc is spinning for longer. I think that should be okay, shouldn't it? Let me get a disc. Now, just in case I have ruined something, I think I'm going to just try this game because it's a lot cheaper than this one here. Right, okay, here we go. So, I'm going to turn it on. And now, see what happens. Right, I can see the red light through it. No, still not doing it. Thought that was going to work.
No. I was sure that was going to work. So I wonder, do I need to increase it a bit more? Or maybe a bit less? Let's just try this. Try this game just in case. You can see the little red light moving there. No, it's the same as before. Right, let's. What should I do now? Well, let me just try some different. Because I've just gone by my working GameCube, haven't I? Do you know what I should have done? Maybe I should have just tweaked it a tiny bit at a time, instead of just going straight for the other one, because it was quite a big jump there, wasn't it? Maybe you have to get these absolutely perfect before they start working. Right, I'm going to go a tiny bit clockwise, because I did go quite a bit counterclockwise before. See what it's measuring now. 252 kilo ohms. Do you know, I'm going to go with that. 2.252 kilo ohms. 0.252 kilo ohms. I'm just writing down as I go along, because that's still different than the original reading, which was 0.355. No. Right, I think the sensible thing to do is try my working disk drive on here, because maybe it's not a problem with the laser at all. Now, I know that sounds weird, but that's exactly the problem I had in the past with that Dreamcast one that I was working on for days. And it turned out to be the board that was driving the laser. It wasn't the actual laser. So now this is the good laser here that I know works. So let's see what happens when I connect this one up. Yeah, there we go, that's working. Right, so now I need to find out why my one is not working. Find out what's wrong with this thing here. Maybe I should swap out the board next, and then it will tell me if it's a board problem or a laser problem. Yeah, I think that would make sense. So let's see how easy it is to take out the board off it. So that's a good thing about having a working one. You can just do a process of elimination. Just keep swapping. Right, let's see. Okay, so take this one out. We're just going to lever that black thing out a little bit. So that's out. That's nice. That's out nicely. This looks like it's soldered, which is annoying. Let's take this one out here. Let's get some little tweezers. Just make sure that these do look the same. RJB 2281A-1, yeah, so these look the same. It says A-3, A-1, but I'm sure they're the same. That one really didn't want to come out there. Right, so there was just a little plastic clip holding it in here. So let me see where this thing goes off to, I suppose. So this is going to go to the motor, so I'm going to have to unsolder this, aren't I? Because otherwise I'm going to have to then get involved in separating out the motor and stuff, which is going to be bother. See, on the Dreamcast one, it definitely wasn't the laser that was faulty, it was some other component. I even changed all the capacitors and it wasn't that. And a lot of people said that it, well, not a lot, a couple of people said it was to do with one of the chips that drive it. So, you know, the driver for the motor or something. So that might be the same thing here. It might not necessarily be the laser, it might be the motor. Maybe it's not spinning up fast enough. Well, let me unsolder this. I think that would be the best option. I don't even have to worry about which goes where because it actually says on the circuit board what colour goes where. Brown and red. Let's just unsolder that. Right, so now we're going to find out whether it is this board that's faulty or whether it's the laser that's faulty. So now I hope I don't get all this mixed up. Let's do the same on the good working one here. Right, okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to call everything here good. So the good board and the good laser, and we're going to call this the bad board and the bad laser. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bad board with the good laser. And we're going to see if it works. So this is the bad board on the good laser. In fact, I'm going to write that down because I know I'm going to get mixed up. Bad board, good laser. And obviously, if this works, it means that the board's not faulty. It means the laser or something is faulty to do with that top section here. Actually, no, that doesn't mean that because I've adjusted this potentiometer now, so that doesn't mean that. But what we can do is when we put the good board on the bad laser, if it works, we know then the laser is okay. Right, so, you know, I'm not going to do that one first. I'm going to do the bad laser, good board first. The reason I'm not doing the other one first is because, remember, I've tweaked the potentiometer and I don't want to damage my good laser. So I just want to see what's happening on this one first of all. Okay, so bad laser, good board. Good board on the bad laser. Actually, I might as well just use that shield that's on there. What do you think, yes or no? What do you think it's going to be? Ready? Bad laser, good board. Perfect. Right, okay, so it's definitely 100% the laser on the good board. So maybe I can get it to work by changing the potentiometer, but with using this board here, it's all working fine. So that says to me that the laser is bad. So let me just write that down. Laser bad. I'm just going to try this other one here just to kind of verify that. But remember, that doesn't necessarily mean anything because I have been mucking around with the potentiometer. So I probably should have swapped it round to begin with for a more accurate test. So now we have the bad board and the good laser. It's working. Well, when I say it's working, it's spinning. Yeah, happy with that. Right, so I am now going to... What am I going to do now? I might as well leave the boards where they are, really, because I don't have to swap them back, and I might as well just concentrate now on this one here, because I've soldered them back on now, so I don't need to swap them back. And I'm just going to keep tweaking that potentiometer to see if I can get it to work. But really, I think the better job would be to buy a new laser. I'm wondering whether I should take this apart further to sort of see how easy or hard it would be to change the laser now that I've gone this far. So it looks like we've got clips here. Maybe I don't even have to undo the screws at the bottom. If I can free these clips. Yeah, you can, look at that. You can just free the clips. So there's clips here, here, here. No, is there one there? No, just here and here. And at the back here. Can you see these kind of clips here? You just push them in. Look at that. Right, but remember we've got the ribbon cables. Let's disconnect the ribbon cables again, then we'll have a look, see what's on the inside. Because even if I get it working, at least I know now for next time what's involved in changing out the laser. Right, so this is it. This is it here. Oh, hold on. Does this look a bit weird? Got a nice few hairs in there, haven't we? That looks a bit... just all looks a bit bent up, doesn't it? I wonder, is it supposed to look like that? No, it's not. Look, this thing's come out here. Look. This is out here. That should be clipped in. This doesn't look right at all. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's all bent up so it can't move freely. Let's have a look at this one to compare it. Normally I would just try to take that apart and work it out myself, but because I've already got one here, I might as well just pop this one off and zoom out a bit, and then we'll be able to see what's going on. That would be nice, wouldn't it, if it wasn't the laser? Let's undo these again. Right, how it should look and how it looks now. Excellent, it's completely different. So if you have a look here, this is how it should be. You see it's clipped in here, clipped in here. That spring looks nice in the sort of position it should be. And this is what's happening on this one. And it looks like there's hairs and stuff wrapped around it. So I think I'm going to take this apart, clean it, and see if I can get it back to how it should be. And look at that, it's just, you know what, just by doing that it's automatically gone back into place. Look at all the hairs. I wonder whether a hair got trapped around it and just kind of put a lot of... No, hair wouldn't put enough strain on it, would it? Look at that, it's moving nice now. Yeah, look. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Right, let's try to get this little spring back in the correct place. Oops. This will probably be the most challenging part of the whole thing. Let me get some better tweezers. Got to go up in that little white bit here. Yes. Right, okay. Look at that. Well, let's see if that's going to do the job. Let's put it back together. Might be nothing at all to do with it, but it definitely wasn't right. But maybe this thing's got a few faults. If I should put the boards back to the original ones, just so it's both original. Yeah, should I? Yeah, I think it's only going to take a couple of seconds to desolder it, isn't it? I'm going to put the boards back to how they were originally. Right, while I'm waiting for the soldering iron, no, yeah, I'll do that. I was going to say I'll test it, but there's no point in keep on putting the ribbon cables in. And then it means that my one's still original, and then this one is, you know, the broken one, the faulty one, will be using all the same parts that it was when I actually got it. So this is my original one now, so I can put this to one side, and now we're dealing purely with the faulty one. Right, okay, so we've soldered that back on, and we're ready to test it. So what do you think, yes or no? Do you think the fault was that, or do you think, yeah, maybe when it got dropped? Do you remember when it got, possibly, if this is due to drop damage, maybe that thing misaligned itself. The weird thing was, there was definitely a hair that was trapped around it. And it was a long hair. I wonder, did it just wind itself up? In fact, I think the remains of the hair's here somewhere. I've just seen it. Just straighten this bit up a bit. Right, here we go. The moment of truth. Is it going to have made a difference or not? Right, let's turn it on. Yes, it's done it. Look. I mean, I don't know if it's working, but it's doing more than it did before. Result. Right, okay. I think what I'm going to do is put that potentiometer back to how it was originally. Because if the fault was that thing that was misaligned, then there might be nothing wrong with this laser. So why do I want to increase the power to it? There you go, there's the hair. Why do I want to increase the power to it if there was nothing wrong with it? Because it's just going to shorten its life. So let's undo this. Put it back to where it was. So I'm going to do it a tiny bit more, just a tiny bit more clockwise, and we want to get it back to 0.355. So this is why it's important to make a note of what it was originally. So 0.355 or thereabouts. Okay, 0.288. Tiny bit more. I'm barely even touching it there. Right, so we've gone too much, haven't we? Right, so let's go counterclockwise now. Getting there. Just doing tiny movements. There we go. 0.356. Well, I'm not going to get any closer. So 0.356. It was 0.355. Between here and here it was 0.355. And it still is 0.354 kilo ohms. This is. And between here and here it was originally 0.2. Okay, 0.13. I'm not exactly sure why that seems to vary so much. Anyway, look, the other figures, the 0.355 is the same now as it was before. So again, temporarily put it back together, then if it works I can screw it all up and test it. Yeah, it is. Right, okay, I suppose the sensible thing would be to put it on the TV before putting it all together, wouldn't it? So let's just put it on and hopefully you'll be able to hear the sound so I won't have to move the camera everywhere. Plug the controller in because I didn't have the game in when I... Yeah, it's there, driven. Right, let me see if I can just... well, I mean, I'll show you properly later, but let's just have a quick look now. There you go, look at it. Fantastic, what a result. So now I'm going to put this back together, screw it all up, give it a clean, and that's it, yeah, amazing. So now what I'm going to do is just do that. Let's turn it off and let's just turn it straight on and see if it goes straight to the game. Oh, 1 second, that's because I didn't, I put the lid down afterwards. Let me turn that off. Let's do it now. Yeah, there you go. What a lovely fix. So yeah, I didn't have to muck around with the calibration at all, but at least I know that for next time. You know, at least I know I've learnt something there. Oh, fantastic. So obviously it was just not allowing it to move properly and it just gave up, rather than, I suppose, it couldn't read the disc because it couldn't travel maybe the full length of the disc and it was just giving up on it. Right, let's pop this back together. Right, okay, so that's it all cleaned up, and it has come up absolutely lovely. Look at that. It's come up really, really, really clean. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hoover out my working one and give that a good clean, and then we're going to test this out. Right, okay, so they're both back together now. I just want to try my one to begin with, because remember I've both had them apart. So let's just see if this is still working fine. Right, okay, yeah, so that's definitely working. Right, now let's try the one here. In fact, this one has come up so nice. It's actually in much better condition than my one now, because my one's quite faded, but that one's come up really, really good. Right, okay, so let's swap everything over. And I want to check the memory card as well on this one here. I'll leave the disc out of it just for the time being. Right, okay, yeah, so it's recognising that there's a memory card there. Now let's pop the game in. Let's go up. There we go, and there it is. What a result. The sound's working fine. I've just got the volume down because on some of these old Nintendo games they are prone to getting copyright strikes. Yeah, it's working absolutely fine. Well, there we go. What a result. So happy with that, and it's come up absolutely beautiful. Really, really good condition. So what a lovely fix. Really nice console, lovely to take apart. Just everything, it looks so easy to swap parts out on this. Just the front comes off separately, the back does, the power supply, everything just looks really easy just to, just modular, just to take apart, swap with other ones there. So I think these would be lovely systems to work on. And on this one here, it wasn't a laser fault whatsoever. It was just the track that was moving up and down, you know, the motorised bit. And you've seen it was just knocked. So I think what's happened is this got dropped because there was a slight bit of damage to the side, and I think the shock of that just knocked that little bit out of place, and ever since then it hasn't worked. That's what I reckon anyway. So for this one, really, really enjoyed it, and yeah, nice, clean, simple, easy fix. It's a shame I do have spare controllers, like the third-party cheap ones. I know I can get an AV lead very cheap. I'm not sure how much a power supply is. I might look into it, because then it's another whole setup, which would be a lot easier to sell. So yeah, that's it for this one. I would definitely get more GameCubes in the future to fix, because I think they're really interesting ones. So hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, I appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe for more trying to fix videos. Take care. Bye now.